Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Mad Dasher. This is the 9th of May of 2025. So, um, speaking to another Dasher and a couple other Dashers that are fairly new. One of them has only been doing it for about 3 months, and one I just talked to has been a little over a year. And I'm catching DoorDash at their order manipulation and more than likely probably also tip stealing. So they got away with it so much to speak in New York and stuff like that. I mean, they only got nailed $19 million. And you're talking about a company that's making 15 billion a year. 19 million. Do you think 19 million really is that much out of a billion? 1 billion. Think about that. That's like 1.9% of what they annually earn. So, with that being said, they haven't learned their lesson. Um, Couple of complaints with them right now is that I try and work the earn by time because obviously that's more profitable to me. However, DoorDash in my area is not offering the earn by time and making it available. It's there. You click on it, it's not available. Now, I've been doing this 5 years. I've seen the trend. Me, as a 5 year veteran, determined to continue making a living, I'm going out 10 hours and making $70. Why? Because all I get offered is for $3, $4, $5 orders. The order I just did was $13.75, going 9.9 miles. DoorDash pay $2.25. Now, if I recall, if you look inside their structure, the $2 is up to 5 miles. Over that, it's supposed to go up $1.50, so it should have been $3.50. That's still not fair with today's gas prices. The area where I live is averaging higher than the whole West Coast, pretty much. I think there's a little bit of fraud going on with our county's government, politicians, and council members, because it just doesn't make sense that why our county is paying more for gas than all the surrounding counties, including one very large, Clark County. Yes, I'm in Nevada. I'm not going to say where, but the county I live in, we pay higher gas prices because of taxes than all the other counties inside of Nevada. Matter of fact, I can drive 30 minutes away from here, and I'm paying $1 less a gallon for gas. 30 miles away. So, with that being said, go back to the DoorDash thing. I've seen the trend here where I used to go out for 4 hours, and this was back when I was up to about a year and a half, 2 years into it. I could go out for 4 hours and make about $170 to $200. My tips were higher than DoorDash pay. Here in the last year and a half, it's been way lower. My tips are 1/3 of their earnings compared to DoorDash pay. Now, mind you, DoorDash hasn't changed their pay structure at all. And I caught him on this last week. I had a delivery to a person that's a friend of mine. DoorDash doesn't know this, but I live in a very small community. We don't have a large population spread out like Los Angeles, Las Vegas, San Francisco, some of these big cities, counties, and stuff like that. So, after living where I live for 22 years, I've got to know people, made a lot of friends. It's a pretty small community, even population-wise. I mean, we're getting up there, but not great big. So I had this order to a friend of mine. This was a couple of weeks ago. He recognized me when I got there because it was a handed to me order, and we got to chatting about DoorDash and how it's treating me and everything. And I told him, I said, literally, I feel treated unfairly by DoorDash. They haven't changed their pay structure in years. They're not coming up and bringing it up to economy standards for the United States. There's a lot of complaints from other Dashers all over the United States about the same thing, with the need for DoorDash to pay more. Quit relying on the customer to tip us as the majority of our pay, because it's not happening. We all know that. It's a struggle right now. People are economically strapped. So I showed him what I got paid. Now, mind you, it was $7. $7.25. He looked at that and told me, he goes, that's ridiculous because I gave you a $15 tip knowing it was you. He goes, so basically what they did is the same thing they did in New York. They're stealing the tip and they're applying part of that tip towards your pay and saying that it's part of your tip and the DoorDash pay, which is not the fact. The customer's paying everything, and then DoorDash is still stealing from them and us out of that. Wonder how they're making $15 billion a year? So if they did it in New York, and it's still going on everywhere. The complaints are valid that DoorDash is stealing from us because they think nothing's going to happen of it. Newsflash. There have been so many of us who have contacted the Department of Labor. I really urge other Dashers and consumers that are wondering why their food's getting mishandled and stuff like that. And I encourage you to get in contact with our Congress, with our Department of Labor, with the United States in general. Needs to address DoorDash, any gig company, on starting to pay us a fair wage. Stop relying on the customer to tip us, and that be our pay, the majority of our pay. It's corrupt. It's slave work is what it is, really, the way they're treating us. And last time I checked, there's an act in the United States against that. I'm pretty sure you can Google it, and it'll be there. That's kind of like sweatshop stuff. So, all Dashers, if you see this, stop taking small orders. I don't care if you think and you're worried about your ratings. Trust me. You can always schedule to work. There is a little schedule tab in the little 3-line bars up there. You can schedule slots to work. If we Dashers come together like a union and we start resisting against the small orders, customers, I'm apologizing to you if you're being brought into this because you're not tipping appropriately. You don't tip, I'm sorry, you don't get your order. we don't deliver it. I'm not saying we're going to mishandle it. I'm not saying for us to mishandle it. I'm just saying we don't do anything with it. We don't deliver it. The merchants are going to get a hold of this, and they're going to stop accepting these type of orders because they have the ability to accept or reject these type of orders. Granted, they don't know what we're getting, but they can pretty much tell by what the customer's ordering what the order's going to be paid for Dashers. And the longer they see that Dashers are rejecting this, they're going to realize that, hey, you know what, I'm going to cancel this order because obviously they're not taking care of the Dasher, who is the backbone of the industry. Again, I've said it in the past, if we sit down for one day, just one day, if we sit down for one day, it's not going to be a huge impact, but I guarantee you that $19 million that they're paying to New York is about the same amount that they're going to lose in one day. We need to send them a message. Something has got to change. Why, you say, am I doing this if I'm paying so little? Because I'm injured. I had surgery on my right knee. I had to go from being a journeyman mechanical millwright, building places like the Tesla Gigafactory, making $37 an hour, $7,000 a week, to doing DoorDash. Otherwise, I was going to be getting taxpayer money for being disabled. We all know disability doesn't pay enough for you to make any type of sort of living. It doesn't meet the ends of everyday needs. So I do this because I can. It's something I can do without being a liability onto taxpayers. This is why I get so irate. There's people like me out here doing this for a living, trying to keep from being a burden to society and give back to society that has a moral ethic in handling the orders, making sure the customer's happy, trying to make sure that the merchants are happy, and give DoorDash business. I see it as my job, my business, because I get to choose when I work. I like that aspect. What I don't like is the way DoorDash is treating us, me, as the backbone of their industry. Time for a change. I know we don't like Trump right now for what he's done to the economy, but I like his signal. Make America great again. If we all come together and we start making these companies liable and responsible for the way they treat us and pay us, and the way they identify us, independent contractor, but yet you're treated as an employee because you have to make a certain percentage of deliveries. You have to accept orders that are not going to pay you, that you're actually going to take a loss at delivering, to keep your acceptance rating up in order to work anytime. Does that sound like independence? No. It's not independence. Independent means that you can log into that app and go to work right now, regardless of what orders you take. You don't have to take a $2 order because you're an independent. You're a contractor. It's your business. More or less the way independent contractor is lined in the Department of Labor. So all you naysayers that say, no, you can't do that, that's not right, maybe you need to start getting an education on it. Start reading into what the Department of Labor laws state is an independent contractor. Once you understand those rights, that are outlined in that, then you'll see that DoorDash, only DoorDash, does not treat you as an independent contractor according to their contract. They treat you as an employee, but they're not having the liabilities of treating you as an employee because of their contract, which violates the standards under the United States Department of Labor laws. It also, if you read into the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the Civil Rights, it violates those. That contract does. But they take advantage of us because they figure the majority of us out here doing this is doing it because we can't do anything else, and we don't have the education or the intelligence to do anything else. It's not the fact. Anybody, I don't care if your education level, you can Google this stuff, have it explain it to you verbally. Therefore, it's easier for you to understand and comprehend what your rights are. I apologize for the lengthy video. God bless you all, us all. Come together, make America great again. Make what we do for a living viable. Let's all come together. That's all I gotta say. Unity under God, whichever God you recognize. Love for all. Peace.